In this session, we will check scatter gathering in Mule. So let us consider a use case. We have a company called as ABC Corp Limited, and it has offices in 4 different locations, and each location has an API of its own. And in the Delhi API, it will have order details only for Delhi. In Mumbai API, we will have orders only for Mumbai. Likewise, for Chennai and Kolkata. So when we call the API, we will get a JSON response. Basically an array with all the orders as object. And our intention is to integrate all those response to a single CSV file in a central repository. So finally, we should have a file which have all the orders from all the locations. So we will check how this can be achieved using scatter gather. When we trigger the flow, the scatter gather will parallelly call all the 4 APIs. It will get the response from the APIs, it will combine the response, and we will do some transformation so that it can be written into a CSV file. So before moving on, let me show how I have managed to generate that API response. So we have some website called as mofi.io where you can give what JSON response we want to get when we call the API and create API. So basically, when we do that, we will give the endpoint which we have to call so that whatever JSON which we have provided will be given as a response. So if I call this is for Mumbai, and if I call this is for Delhi. So let me go to the Anypoint Studio and start building the project. Let me create a new Mule project. Let me call it as 112 underscore scatter gather. Listener component, we will keep the configuration as default. Path, we will give it as scatter gather. Okay. Then we will use scatter gather component. Okay. So in our case, we will be calling only 2 of the APIs. So let us use 2 request component. One will be for Delhi and one will be for Mumbai. So now we need to configure these 2 request components. Let me call this as Delhi. And we will call this as Mumbai. Okay. Okay. So configuration. So this is for Mumbai, so I will call it Mumbai. And the protocol is HTTPS. If you go to that, so this is for Mumbai, right? So we will be giving till here in the host. Base path we will give B1. Okay. And the path we will give the remaining. Okay. So if you see here, the URL is properly found. Similarly, let us create for Delhi as well. We will call it as Delhi. B1, then this is for Delhi, right? So we will use this one. Okay. So we have created these two requests. So what will happen when we trigger this flow? This will parallelly go and hit the Mumbai API and Delhi API, and it will combine those response and it will come out. Let me put a logger here, and let me put a breakpoint. We will debug this, and we will see how we can use the transfer message component. Okay, let me simply put a transfer message component here, and so we will convert the response to JSON. Okay, payload. Okay, so that's it. Let me put it in debug. Okay, so the application got deployed successfully. So let me trigger this. So the endpoint is gather. Let me go to the studio. So the control came here. So we can see the payload. If you see the payload, okay, so it basically has two objects. One will be from Delhi and one will be from Bombay. For the zeroth object, there are three, like within them we have three other objects. So this is for Mumbai and this is for Delhi. So we have got the response from both Delhi and Mumbai. So now we need to modify in such a way that we will be able to write it as a CSV file. So in order to do that, so we have the payload. So it is an object. So if we can see here the payload is an object, right? So first we will convert it to a array. For that we can use payload pluck dollar. So it got converted to array. Okay. So on top of it we will use a map operation. So we will give map. So we know that this is within the payload. We have the essential data, right? Within the payload we have all the essential data. So we will be trying to get it from the $.payload. Let me evaluate this. Okay. So if we see here, we can see it has locations Mumbai 1, 2, 3, and we will have Delhi. So this is within two arrays. So in order to change this, we will use a flatten function. Okay, so this is the response we are looking for. Let me show you. So it has basically 6 objects within an array, right? So one more thing, we have to convert this to a CSV. For that, we can give output application slash CSV. Let me validate this. Yes, I think we have got the response as okay. So we have a header and we have 6 entries, 3 for Mumbai and 3 for Delhi. Okay, so what we will do inside the transfer message component, we will use this one and we will run it again. And one more thing we have to do is we have to write this to local file, right? So we will use a write component for that. So we will write this locally. So let me configure it. This will be the location. Okay. Then we can give the file name as combined.csv. Okay, save this. Let us run this. Okay. Okay, the flow got deployed successfully. Let us trigger this. Okay, so we can see the response here, and we should see the response in the output location as well. So this is the file which got generated today. Let me open this. Okay, so perfect. So we have 3 records from Mumbai and 3 records from Delhi, and whatever the data which was there in the JSON, it is returned to the flat file. So in short, what is happening? We are triggering this particular new flow, and it is going to the Mumbai API and getting the JSON response, Delhi API getting the JSON response. These two happens parallelly, and when it comes out, both responses will be combined together. Using this transform message component, we are converting the payload to a form which could be written as a CSV file. Okay, that's it.